Hey everybody, welcome to Mondo Comics. I'm your host Armando Ortega, and today I have an awesome subject I want to talk to you guys about. I want to talk to you guys about Moon Knight. Moon Knight is a great character. I've known about it for years, and every time I read a comic about him, every time I seen a game with him, I just got really excited because the way he does things, the way his character is really cool. It's like not super unique, but he makes it work in a way, you know? And another reason why I really enjoy Moon Knight is because he doesn't get so much recognition. He's someone who's under the radar and everything. When people usually hear about Moon Knight, hear the name Moon Knight, they're all like, who's that? He's appeared in mainly comic books, and he's only had 2 spots on TV, one of them being towards the very end of the last episode of season 2 of the Avengers Assemble series, which even though it only lasts about like a second or 2 on screen, it's still an exciting moment for me when I saw it, because I saw it and I was like, oh, does that mean in season 3 that Moon Knight's finally gonna get a spot in TV, finally make his first appearance ever, even if it's in an animated cartoon? Still. And also he appeared, I believe, in 2 or 3 games. One of them being Marvel's Pinball Moon Knight theme, of course, but the other one being in Marvel's Ultimate Alliance. Third game that he appeared in is in Spider-Man Web of Shadows, where he actually is able to assist you depending on which path you choose to take when the story progresses. And all 3 times is really cool. I mean, like, pinball is simple, but it's still Moon Knight. It still has its own theme and it's still very entertaining. And when Ultimate Alliance, when I first started to play it and he came out, he was one of my main characters. And when Web of Shadows came out, as you know, Spider-Man being my #1 favorite hero, but also adding in Moon Knight, that was really cool. That was really awesome. And I chose to do all the good things in order for Moon Knight to be one of my helpers, one of my assists, and that's gonna be awesome. Well, anyways, let me get down to the history right quick, and then we could talk a little bit more about what Moon Knight does when, you know, he's out fighting crime in the night. Moon Knight was created back in 1975, but he wasn't given his own comic series until 1980, because that was due to people who read those comic books that Moon Knight appeared in actually felt interest in the character, and they actually wanted his own comic series, and, you know, Marvel delivered. Moon Knight's real name is Mark Spector. Mark Spector grew up to be a heavyweight boxer, a marine, and a mercenary. And you know what I just realized? A lot of characters in Marvel actually are mercenaries. I mean, I guess that's the theme, but all those mercenaries are actually really cool characters, so, you know, it's not bad. While in Egypt, Mark gets beaten to near death by his partner Bushman after Mark tried to stop him from killing anybody else. After Bushman, due to greed, tried to take all the treasures for himself, causing him to kill a fellow member by the name Dr. Alron. After Mark was done with his beating and was left there to die, some Roman Egyptians actually found him, carried him back to their temple. After Mark was brought in front of the statue of Khonshu, Mark's heart stopped and he ended up dying. After Mark's death, Khonshu actually appears to him in a vision where he tells him he can resurrect Mark, but only if Mark agrees to become Khonshu's avatar of vengeance. Sounds pretty cool. Mark is resurrected, grabs a white cloak from the statue of Khonshu, returns to the United States, finds and defeats Bushman, and that's where the story of Moon Knight begins. One of the things that makes Moon Knight unique actually is the fact that unlike many other heroes, he actually makes different personas for himself, different aliases and everything, so he's never really the same person that everybody meets. For example, after returning from New York, Mark decides to use his fortune in order to invent a different persona by the name Stephen Grant, who's a millionaire high roller that's allowed to walk among the richest, most powerful elites in New York City. After realizing that contacts for criminal activities can also happen in the streets, Mark invented a second alias by the name Jake Lockley. But recently in the Marvel Now series, they actually introduced a third persona that Mark Spector uses, named Mr. Knight. And that persona makes Mark Spector a detective, which is really cool. All white suit, white tie, and also a white mask with the symbol of the moon on his forehead. It's very simple, but it looks really awesome. And I'll put the comic on screen right now so you guys can check it out. But it's a good read and I'll recommend you guys reading it. So in total that makes 5 personas that Mark Spector uses. It's Mark Spector, Jake Lockley, Stephen Grant, Mr. Knight, and Moon Knight. Those different personas actually add to the depth, to the story that the comics of Moon Knight actually offer. It's kind of confusing at first, and it takes, you know, maybe another read or 2 in order to really fully understand what is going on, but it's all well worth it, because once you finally get it into your mind, you're able to actually keep up with the rest of the comics that come in and everything. And once you get that, the character of Moon Knight, you'll see how unique he is in that aspect, how filled with story the character in his comics are. Moon Knight is actually able to keep up with a lot of criminals in the street when he goes out fighting crime at night, due to his history of boxing, being a marine, and being a mercenary. And you can see how all that adds into his level of skills that this guy has. Moon Knight also goes fighting crime at night, not just with his fists, but with a couple of gadgets. He has gadgets like the crescent darts, the trencher, and the spiked brass knuckles. The brass knuckles isn't some sort of high-tech brass knuckles, it's just regular brass knuckles. The way Moon Knight uses it, it just brings another level of brutality when he goes fighting crime at night. Because when Moon Knight goes out fighting crime, he actually is a very brutal guy. He doesn't just render criminals unconscious, he actually beats them to a pulp, to the point where he kills some, and sometimes he carves out a crescent on their forehead with one of his crescent darts to mark them, to make sure that when he sees that specific person in the future, he'll know whether it's a person that he got to already, and to see if they decide to change their ways, to clean up, to go straight, or if they decide to continue their life of crime. And every time he catches them, another mark, and another mark, and another mark. And that shows Moon Knight, and it shows everybody else that Moon Knight got that person. That person has to live with it with the rest of their lives. A really cool and unique thing about Moon Knight was when he joined the Avengers for that temporary time, when he got assigned to Los Angeles, Hawkeye was teasing him, you know, kind of poking fun of the whole Moon Knight thing that he wears white. Because he's like, why do you wear white if you decide to go out at night and fight criminals? That defeats the whole purpose. And Moon Knight actually responded with something really cool. Moon Knight just replied with, I wear white so they'll see me coming. And I think that's actually really awesome, because most people who go out fighting crime at night, they want to be stealthy, they don't want to be seen or heard, they want to go in and go out. Mark is a different type of person. Mark goes out fighting crime at night, but he wants the criminals to know that he's there. He wants them to know that this dude is something else. He's not just a human being, he's somebody who is going to go there, beat the hell out of them, and it doesn't matter if they're packing knives or they're packing guns or they're packing bombs or grenades, anything. He will get to them and he will beat the hell out of them. And his comics, if you read his comics, you will see how incredibly brutal this character is. One of Moon Knight's awesome moments is the fact that he was able to actually fight and beat Deadpool. A lot of you might be thinking that that's not really an awesome feat. You know, Deadpool has been beaten before, which is true, but you got to see the people who actually beat Deadpool before. Those people have superpowers. Those people have like super strength or super speed, or are able to actually beat Deadpool from afar. Moon Knight doesn't do any of that. Moon Knight doesn't have powers right now. Moon Knight is just a regular human being. But the fact that Moon Knight was able to go up against Deadpool, fight him, not only fight him, but actually beat Deadpool, shows how incredibly brutal this guy is, how skilled this guy is. Take this into account. Taskmaster, a character who is actually able to see and copy to perfection the fighting style of any character in the Marvel universe, or any character he comes across. He wasn't able to copy Deadpool's because Deadpool's fighting style was so unpredictable, to the point where even Deadpool didn't know what he was doing. Deadpool himself can't keep up with himself, and Taskmaster wasn't able to hold up to that. But Moon Knight was. Moon Knight faced Deadpool and he beat him. And another cool thing, now talking about Taskmaster, is the fact that Taskmaster, when he was fighting Moon Knight, he himself said that he couldn't copy Moon Knight's style either, because Moon Knight has a unique thing where he rather take a punch than actually block it. And now imagine Taskmaster copying Moon Knight's style, and they're both just punching each other and neither one is dodging or blocking, and it's crazy, you know? And that's just another sign to show that Moon Knight is actually really cool. It's actually unique in that form too. His fighting style is able to keep up with one of the most unpredictable fighters in the Marvel universe, but it's also unique enough to not want a person who's able to copy every style to perfection want to copy him. Because he is strong enough, he is durable enough, and he is crazy enough to just take a punch. Not block it, not dodge it, just take it. And that's something that you see that not many heroes or villains want to do. Well, besides the Joker, I guess. As you may have noticed by now, Moon Knight is not your typical hero. Moon Knight is not your typical just go out there, beat up bad guys, and leave. Moon Knight is actually doing all this because he struck a deal with the moon god Khonshu. He goes out there as Khonshu's Knight of Vengeance. Every time he goes out there, he actually not only beats people up, but brands them in order to have an offering for Khonshu, to satisfy Khonshu's thirst for vengeance. At one point when he was fighting Bushman though, Bushman broke both his legs. And when both his legs broken, Moon Knight still got up, still took Bushman down, grabbed one of his crescent darts, and proceeded to carve Bushman's face off. It shows how brutal Moon Knight actually really is. Not only that, Moon Knight also does not hesitate to kill anybody for a majority part of his comics. He's a master swordsman, and I believe he's also masterful with a bunch of firearms, a bunch of weaponry of that sort, which only adds on to his already impressive skill set and his deadly arsenal. Now with all that being said, I hope I convinced you guys how awesome Moon Knight is. If you guys want comics about Moon Knight, go to your local comic shop. Go pick up comics about Moon Knight. Go read up on him. You'll better understand him and everything, and you'll see how much of an incredible character this guy is. He's brutal, he's deadly, he's unforgiving, and he's somebody who, if he was real, and you were a criminal, you would not want to face off against him. Now, I don't know about you guys, but personally, I would love Moon Knight to have his own Netflix series. Now that you have Punisher, Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage all having their own series, why not add Moon Knight to the list, you know? He would just be an incredible addition. Heck, there's times where he even fights with Punisher. Both of them in live action with their brutality and their tendency not to forgive criminals. That would be awesome. Anyways, thank you guys for coming into another episode of Model Comics. And if there's any subject you want me to talk about, just leave it in the comments below. Alright, have a good one.